Commander Jake Harrison stood on the bridge of the U.S. Liberty, watching the stars through the main view screen. His ship had been exploring this region of space for 3 months, looking for new planets that humans could settle on. The Liberty was not a warship. It carried scientists, engineers, and diplomats who hoped to make peaceful contact with any alien life they might find. "Commander, I'm picking up something strange on the sensors," said Lieutenant Amy Foster from her station. She was the ship's communications officer, a young woman from Texas who had joined the space fleet to see what was out there among the stars. Jake walked over to her station. "What kind of strange?" "Multiple contacts, sir. Really big ones. They're coming toward us fast." Amy's fingers moved quickly over her controls. "Sir, I count at least 50 ships. They're huge, much bigger than anything we have." Before Jake could respond, the view screen lit up with an incredible sight. Massive alien ships appeared in front of them, each one the size of a small city. The ships had strange designs, with curved hulls and glowing energy fields around them. Jake had never seen anything like them. "Open a channel," Jake ordered. "Let's try to talk to them." The main screen to show a face that made several crew members gasp. The alien looked like a giant lizard with golden scales and red eyes. When it spoke, its voice was deep and cold. "I am Admiral Vexstar of the Galactic Dominion Council. You will identify yourself and your species immediately." Jake stepped forward. "I am Commander Jake Harrison of the United Earthship Liberty. We come in peace, seeking friendship with other intelligent species." The alien's mouth opened to show rows of sharp teeth. "Peace is not an option. You will surrender your ship and submit to the authority of the Council. This is not a request." "I'm sorry, but I don't understand," Jake said. "We haven't done anything wrong. We're explorers, not invaders." Admiral Vexstar made a sound that might have been laughter. "Your understanding is not required. For 3,000 years, the Council has ruled this sector of the galaxy. When we encounter a new species, they have 2 choices: submit to our rule or be destroyed. No species has ever chosen destruction." Amy looked up at Jake with wide eyes. She had been translating everything for Earth through their quantum communication system. Jake could see the fear on her face, but also anger. "What does submission mean?" Jake asked, though he was afraid of the answer. "Your species will serve the Council. Your technology will belong to us. Your people will work where we tell them to work. You will have no freedom, no independence, no rights except what we choose to give you. In return, we will allow your species to live." The bridge fell silent. Jake looked around at his crew. Chief Engineer Ben Rodriguez, who had grown up in California, was clenching his fists. Science Officer Lisa Carter, a woman from Ohio who had dreamed of meeting aliens since she was a child, had tears in her eyes. "And if we refuse?" Jake asked. "Then your species will be eliminated completely. We have done this before. The choice is simple." Jake felt his heart racing. This was not the first contact scenario anyone on Earth had imagined. "How long do we have to decide?" "One of your solar days. We will wait here. When the time is up, you will give us your answer. Choose wisely, human." No species has ever chosen extinction over service to the Council. The screen went black. The alien ships remained in position, surrounding the Liberty like predators, watching their prey. Jake turned to Amy. "Get me a secure channel to Earth." "Emergency priority." "Yes, sir." Amy's hands shook as she worked. "Channel open, sir. Earth Command is standing by." Jake looked at the camera. "Earth Command, this is Commander Harrison. We have made contact with an alien force calling itself the Galactic Dominion Council. They are demanding our immediate surrender and subjugation. They have given us 24 hours to comply or face complete destruction." He paused, looking around at his crew again. They claim to rule this part of the galaxy, and that no species has ever refused their demands. They want to make slaves of all humanity. Ben Rodriguez spoke up from his station. Commander, I'm reading massive energy signatures from those ships. Their weapons are more powerful than anything we have. Lisa Carter was studying her sensors. Sir, I'm detecting at least 12 different ship designs. This isn't just one alien race. It looks like a coalition of multiple species. Jake nodded. You heard that, Earth Command. This isn't just one enemy. It's an entire empire that has been conquering species for thousands of years. The response from Earth took several minutes. When it came, it was from Admiral Thompson himself. Commander Harrison, we have received your message. President Santos has been informed. Do not agree to any surrender terms. Help is coming. Sir, with respect, they have 50 capital ships. We have one exploration vessel with minimal weapons. Hold your position, Commander. That's an order. Humanity does not surrender. We will find another way. Jake closed the channel and looked at his crew. They were scared, but he could see determination in their eyes too. These were humans, and humans did not give up easily. What are your orders, sir? Amy asked. We wait, Jake said, and we get ready for whatever comes next. Over the next several hours, more alien ships arrived. Each wave brought different species. Some looked like giant insects, others like living crystals, and some like creatures from Earth's deepest nightmares. All of them served the Council. Ben worked on the ship's weapon systems, trying to make their few defensive guns more effective. Lisa studied the alien ships, looking for any weakness they could exploit. Amy maintained contact with Earth, sending detailed information about everything they observed. As the hours passed, the crew began to understand what they were really facing. This was not just a threat to their ship, or even to them personally. This was a threat to every human being who had ever lived. The Council wanted to enslave their entire species. Sir, Lisa said quietly, I've been thinking about what that alien said. No species has ever chosen extinction over slavery. What about it? Jake asked. Maybe that's because no species like us has ever been given that choice before. Jake looked at her. What do you mean? I mean, maybe we're different. Maybe we're the first species they've met that would rather die free than live as slaves. Jake smiled for the first time since the aliens had appeared. You might be right, Lisa. You might be right. Outside, the alien fleet waited patiently for humanity's surrender. They had no doubt about the outcome. After all, no intelligent species would choose death over life, no matter what the conditions. They were about to learn how wrong they were. President Maria Santos sat in the emergency meeting room deep beneath the White House. Around the table were the most important leaders from every nation on Earth. The message from Commander Harrison had reached Earth 6 hours ago, and the world had not been the same since. Ladies and gentlemen, President Santos began, we face the greatest threat in human history. An alien empire wants to make slaves of our entire species. They have given us 18 hours to surrender or be destroyed. General Paul Mitchell, head of Earth's unified military forces, stood up. He was a tall man from Colorado who had spent his life preparing for wars that might never come. Now the biggest war of all was knocking on their door. Madam President, our space fleet consists of 47 ships. Most are exploration vessels. Like the Liberty, we have 12 actual warships, but they were designed to fight other human ships, not alien technology that's thousands of years ahead of us. Dr. Helen Brooks, Earth's leading scientist who studied the possibility of alien life, spoke next. I've been analyzing the data Commander Harrison sent us. This council has 12 different alien species working together. They've been conquering Other races for 3,000 years. No one has ever successfully resisted them. What about their weaknesses? Asked President Santos. That's the interesting part, Dr. Brooks replied, pulling up images on a large screen. Every single alien species we've seen comes from worlds with lower gravity than Earth. Their atmospheres are thinner. Their bodies are adapted for easier living conditions. General Mitchell leaned forward. What does that mean for us? It means humans are physically stronger than any of them. We can survive in conditions that would kill them. We can fight longer, endure more pain, and recover from injuries that would be fatal to them. Admiral Chris Thompson, commander of Earth's space fleet, had been quiet until now. He was a man from Alabama who had worked his way up from ordinary sailor to fleet commander. Physical strength won't matter much in space combat. Their ships are bigger and more advanced than ours. Maybe, said Dr. Brooks, but I've noticed something else. Look at their ship designs. She changed the images on the screen. They're built for intimidation and show of force. Lots of energy shields and powerful weapons, but the actual hull construction looks weaker than our ships. Our ships are built like tanks, Admiral Thompson said thoughtfully. We designed them to survive asteroid impacts, radiation storms, and equipment failures. These alien ships look pretty, but they might not be as tough as they appear. President Santos looked around the room. What are you all telling me? That we should fight an empire that has conquered the galaxy for 3,000 years? Madam President, General Mitchell said quietly, what's the alternative? Become slaves? Watch our children grow up in chains? See human civilization reduced to a workforce for alien masters? The room fell silent. Everyone knew the general was right, but the odds seemed impossible. I need to know what our people think, President Santos said. Has the news been released to the public? Yes, Madam President, replied her chief of staff. Every major news network is covering the story. The reaction has been ... intense. On screens around the room, they watched news footage from around the world. In New York, crowds had gathered in Times Square, not in panic, but in determination. Signs reading, "Earth will never surrender," and "Freedom or death," filled the streets. In London, the Prime Minister was giving a speech. We stand with our American allies and all of humanity. If these aliens think humans will bow down, they have seriously underestimated us. Similar scenes played out in Tokyo, Berlin, Moscow, and every major city on Earth. Humanity was not cowering in fear. They were getting angry. Admiral Thompson received a message on his communication device. Madam President, I'm getting reports from all our military bases. Enlistment offices have lines around the block. Everyone wants to join the fight. What about our space fleet? President Santos asked. Every ship is reporting for duty. The mining vessels near Mars are converting their equipment into weapons. The research stations on the moon are being turned into defensive platforms. Even the civilian transport ships are volunteering to carry supplies. Dr. Brooks was reading reports on her tablet. The private space companies are offering everything they have. Ships, equipment, personnel. No one is asking for payment. They just want to help. General Mitchell stood up again. Madam President, in all my years of military service, I've never seen anything like this. The entire human race is uniting for war. Every nation, every company, every person with skills we need is volunteering. What about the aliens? President Santos asked. Have they sent any more messages? Admiral Thompson nodded. Yes, Madam President. They've been sending us videos of what happened to other species that resisted. They want us to see what they're capable of. Show me, the President said. The screens displayed horrifying images. Entire planets turned into mining operations, worked by enslaved populations. Species that had been reduced to living computers their bodies modified to serve alien technology. One race had been completely wiped out as an example to others. Instead of making the leaders afraid, the images made them more determined. "They're trying to scare us," General Mitchell said. "They think if we see what happened to others, we'll give up without a fight." "They don't understand humans very well," President Santos replied. "The more you try to intimidate us, the more we want to fight back." Dr. Brooks looked up from her research. "I've been studying their tactics. They always demand surrender first. They've never had to actually fight a war in centuries. All their victories come from species giving up before the battle even starts. So they might not be as good at actual combat as they think," Admiral Thompson said. "Exactly. They're used to winning through fear and superior technology. They've never faced an enemy that refuses to quit." President Santos made her decision. "General Mitchell, mobilize every military unit we have. Admiral Thompson, get our entire space fleet ready for combat. Dr. Brooks, I want you to find every possible weakness in their technology." She paused and looked around the room. "And I want a message sent to Commander Harrison. Tell him that Earth stands behind him. Tell him that humanity chooses to fight." As the meeting broke up, each leader returned to their duties with grim determination. Around the world, factories began working day and night to produce weapons and supplies. Scientists worked to adapt human technology for space combat. Pilots trained for battles they had never imagined. But most importantly, 6 billion humans prepared to prove that there were some things more important than staying alive. Freedom was one of them. In space, the alien fleet continued to wait patiently for humanity's surrender. They had no doubt about the outcome. After all, what intelligent species would choose certain death over peaceful slavery? They were about to find out. Admiral Chris Thompson stood on the bridge of the U.S. Defiant, watching as the last of Earth's warships jumped into the battle zone. The human fleet had arrived just as the alien deadline was about to expire. 47 ships against over 200 alien vessels. The odds were terrible, but no one was backing down. "Admiral, we are receiving a transmission from the Liberty," reported Communications Officer Danny Walsh, a young man from Boston who had volunteered the moment he heard about the alien threat. "Put Commander Harrison on screen," Thompson ordered. "Jake." Harrison's face appeared, and Thompson could see the determination in his eyes. "Admiral, good to see you made it. The aliens have been sending us more surrender demands every hour. They seem confused that we haven't given up yet. Any changes in their position?" Thompson asked. "No, sir. They're still in the same formation. I don't think they're expecting a fight. Chief Rodriguez has been studying their ships with our sensors. He thinks their energy shields have weak points." Before Thompson could respond, the alien fleet began moving. The massive ships formed a battle line, their energy weapons charging with bright blue light. "All ships, this is Admiral Thompson," he announced over the fleet communication system. "Remember your training. These aliens have never fought anyone who wouldn't surrender. They don't know how humans fight when we're backed into a corner." Admiral Vextar appeared on every human ship's main screen. His red eyes glowed with anger. "Humans, your time is up. We have been patient, but you have tried our patience too long. Surrender now or face destruction." Thompson stepped forward. On his own bridge. "Admiral Vextar, I am Admiral Chris Thompson of the Earth Defense Fleet. We have considered your offer carefully." "And?" the alien demanded. "Our answer is no. We will not surrender. We will not become slaves. If you want to destroy us, you'll have to fight for it." The alien's mouth opened in what might have been shock. "You cannot be serious. Your fleet is tiny compared to ours. Your technology is primitive. You will all die for nothing." "Maybe," Thompson replied calmly, "but we'll die as free people." and we'll take as many of you with us as we can." For a moment, there was silence across the communication channel. Then Vexstar made a sound like an angry snake. "So be it. You have chosen extinction. We will grant your wish." The alien ships opened fire. Streams of blue energy shot across space toward the human fleet. The humans scattered, using tactics they had learned from centuries of naval warfare on Earth. The first energy blasts hit the UES Guardian, commanded by Captain Ryan Burke from Michigan. The ship's shields flared and failed, but the thick armor underneath held. Ryan's voice came over the communication system, calm despite the damage his ship was taking. "Guardian to all ships. Their energy weapons are powerful, but they're not getting through our armor as fast as they expected. We can take more hits than they think." The human ships began their counterattack. Instead of trying to match the aliens' energy weapons, they used kinetic rounds, solid metal projectiles fired at incredible speeds. The alien shields, designed to stop energy weapons, were not as effective against physical impacts. Commander Sarah Williams, captain of the U's Phoenix, led a group of smaller ships in a flanking attack. She was a pilot from Nevada who had been flying spacecraft since she was 20 years old. Her ships moved fast, dodging the alien energy beams while getting closer to their targets. "Phoenix Group, target their shield generators," Sarah ordered. "If we can bring down their shields, our main guns can hurt them." The battle became chaos. Human ships worked together in ways the aliens had never seen. When one ship was damaged, others moved to protect it. When a human captain saw an opportunity, other ships immediately supported the attack. Lieutenant Bobby Chun was piloting a small fighter that had been launched from the UES Freedom. His ship was fast but lightly armed. As he dodged between the massive alien vessels, he saw something that made his heart race. The alien flagship's shield generator was exposed on the underside of the ship. If he could hit it with his ship's entire missile load, he might be able to bring down their shields. "This is Chun to all ships," he announced. "I can see a weak point on their flagship. I'm going to try to take out their main shield generator." "Chun, that's a suicide run," came Admiral Thompson's voice. "Yes, sir, I know. But if I can bring down their shields, our big guns can finish the job." Bobby pushed his fighter to maximum speed, racing toward the alien flagship. Energy beams shot past him, trying to stop him, but he was too small and too fast. Behind him, he could hear other pilots volunteering to make similar attacks. "This is for Earth," Bobby said quietly, and fired all his missiles into the shield generator. Before his fighter crashed into the alien ship's hull, the explosion was tremendous. The flagship's shields flickered and died, leaving the massive ship vulnerable. Immediately, every human ship in range opened fire with their heaviest weapons. The aliens could not believe what they were seeing. Species were supposed to value their lives above all else. No intelligent being should throw their life away in a hopeless attack. But the humans kept doing exactly that. Captain Burke's ship, the Guardian, was heavily damaged and losing air. Instead of retreating, he rammed his ship into an alien cruiser, destroying both vessels. His last message was simple. For humanity, the tide of battle began to turn. The aliens had superior technology, but they had never fought anyone who was willing to sacrifice everything for victory. Their tactics were designed for easy conquests, not desperate battles against enemies who refused to quit. Commander Williams led another attack that destroyed 3 alien ships. Chief Rodriguez, now commanding the Liberty after Jake Harrison, was injured, used the ship's mining equipment to tear apart an alien vessel's hull. Admiral Vexstar watched in growing horror as his fleet began to fall apart. These primitive humans were actually winning. It was impossible, but it was happening. "All ships retreat," he finally ordered. Fall back to safe distance. The surviving alien ships began to withdraw, leaving the battlefield to the humans. Of the original human fleet, only 23 ships were still functional, but they had done the impossible. They had defeated the Galactic Dominion Council in open battle. Admiral Thompson looked around his damaged bridge. Half his crew was injured, and his ship was barely holding together, but they were alive and they were free. All ships, this is Thompson. Well done, everyone. Send a message to Earth. Tell them we won. Across the galaxy, news of the battle spread faster than the Council could stop it. For the first time in 3,000 years, someone had defeated the Great Empire. And it was a species that the Council had never heard of until 3 days ago. Impossible had happened. The humans had fought back and won. High Counselor Zephyria stood in the Great Chamber on Dominion Prime, the capital world of the Galactic Council. Around her, the other council members were arguing in voices filled with panic and confusion. The crystalline being had ruled for over 1,000 years, and she had never seen the council in such chaos. "This is impossible," roared High Military Commander Korax, his insect-like body clicking with agitation. "No species defeats the council fleet. It has never happened in 3,000 years of expansion." "But it did happen," replied Councilmember Thyses, her snake-like head swaying with worry. "Admiral Vexstar lost over half his fleet to these humans. They fought like creatures possessed by madness." Zephyria activated the holographic display in the center of the chamber. Images from the battle played out before them, showing human ships ramming into council vessels, pilots sacrificing themselves to destroy shield generators, and damaged human ships continuing to fight even when they should have been destroyed. "Look at this," she said, pointing to the footage of Bobby Chun's final attack. "This human destroyed his own ship just to damage ours. No rational being does this. They value survival above all else." "Maybe they are not rational," suggested Council Member Vorth, his scaled face showing confusion. "Maybe they are a warrior species that has gone insane." "No," said Zephyria quietly. "I have been studying the data. They are not insane. They are something we have never encountered before. They are a species that values freedom more than life itself." The chamber fell silent. This was a concept that none of the council members could truly understand. Every species they had conquered had eventually submitted when faced with death. It was logical. It was reasonable. It was how intelligent beings were supposed to behave. "What do we do?" asked Thyses. "If we cannot make them surrender, how do we deal with them?" Korax stepped forward, his multiple arms gesturing aggressively. "We gather the entire council armada. Every ship, every weapon, every soldier. We return to their space and destroy them completely. We turn their worlds into dust and make sure no trace of them remains." "And if we lose again?" Zephyria asked. "Quietly, we cannot lose again. It was just one battle. A lucky victory against a small fleet. The full might of the council will crush them easily." But even as Korax spoke, reports were coming in from across the galaxy that made his words seem less certain. The news of humanity's victory was spreading, and the effect was more dangerous than any weapon. On the mining world of Kepler-7, the enslaved Zelani workers had stopped their digging. For the first time in centuries, they were asking questions. If the humans could defeat the council, maybe freedom was possible. In the computer centers, where the quill species lived as biological machines, whispers were passing through their neural networks. Someone had fought back. Someone had won. The impossible had become possible. Even among the council's own species, there were murmurs of doubt. Soldiers who had never questioned orders were now wondering if the council was truly invincible. Ambassador Tony Garcia had arrived at Earth's newest space station, Hope Station, which had been built in just 2 weeks after the battle. He was meeting with representatives from 3 different enslaved species who had secretly made contact with humanity. "We want to help," said Kes, a Zilani who had escaped from the mining world. Her people looked almost human, but with silver skin and large eyes adapted for underground work. "Our people have been slaves for 800 years. We had given up hope until we heard what you did." "What can your people offer?" Tony asked. He was a diplomat from California who had spent years preparing for alien contact, though he had never imagined it would be like this. "We know the Council's mining operations. We know where their supply ships go when they are vulnerable. We can cause disruptions that will hurt their economy." The second alien was Vex, one of the few surviving members of the Hybrak species. Most of his people had been wiped out as an example to others, but some had been kept alive as living databases. "I can provide intelligence," Vex said through his translation device. "I know Council military codes, ship designs, battle tactics, everything they have done for the past 1,000 years." The third representative was the most surprising. Commander. Zark was actually from one of the Council species, but he had been secretly working against the government for years. "There are others like me," he explained. "We have watched the Council destroy species after species. We never thought there was an alternative until now. Your victory has given us hope that change is possible." Tony leaned back in his chair. "What you're talking about is revolution across the entire galaxy. The Council will not just let their empire fall apart." "They may not have a choice," Kes replied. "Word is spreading faster than they can stop it. Every enslaved world is hearing the story. The humans who would not surrender. The humans who fought an empire and won." Back on Earth, President Santos was meeting with her military leaders. The victory in space had been incredible, but it was just the beginning. "The Council will be back," General Mitchell warned. "They cannot allow our victory to stand. It threatens everything they have built." "How long do we have?" President Santos asked. "Our intelligence suggests they are gathering ships from across their empire. It could be months before they are ready to attack again. But when they come, it will be with everything they have." Admiral Thompson, his arm still in a sling from the battle, spoke up. "We need to use that time. The aliens who contacted us are right. This is bigger than just defending Earth now. We have a chance to free the entire galaxy." Dr. Brooks had been studying the intelligence provided by their new alien allies. "The Council's empire is built on fear and the belief that resistance is impossible. Our victory has broken that belief. If we can support rebellions on their slave worlds, we can stretch their forces thin." "What are you suggesting?" President Santos asked. "We share our technology with the resistance movements. We provide weapons, training, and most importantly, hope. We show the galaxy that the Council can be defeated." President Santos looked around the room. "You are talking about turning a defensive war into a liberation campaign. The risk is enormous." "So is the opportunity," Admiral Thompson replied. "We could free billions of people who have lived in slavery for centuries. We could end an empire that has ruled through fear and oppression." The decision was not easy, but it was inevitable. Humanity had already chosen to fight for freedom rather than accept slavery. Now they had to decide whether to fight for the freedom of others as well. 3 months later, the first human ships arrived at the mining world of Kepler-7. They brought weapons, supplies, and something the Zilani had not seen in 800 years. Hope. The liberation of the galaxy had begun. On Dominion Prime, High Counselor Zephyria watched the reports of rebellions breaking out across a dozen worlds. The Council's vast armada was finally ready to destroy humanity, but now they faced a new problem. They were fighting a war on multiple fronts against enemies who had learned the most dangerous lesson of all. They had learned that surrender was Not the only option. As she prepared to give the order for the final assault on human space, Zephyria wondered if it was already too late. The humans had done more than just win a battle. They had given the galaxy something that the Council had worked for 3,000 years to destroy. They had given them hope.